the improvement that we make based on our customer feedback, because a lot of customer feedback, oh, I have all those internal valve for my competitor, and it takes so long to open, and it wastes a lot of time. So by doing this, it actually improves the opening and also closing, and that helps the transfer of the LPG much quicker. Okay, next slide. Flow analysis. Okay, before you change the slide, let me explain what is flow analysis. Okay, basically, if you look at the internal valve, LPG will flow in and flow out the internal valve. You remember in my early slide, I was talking about cavitation. So cavitation will form when there is restriction or there is air trapped in it, and they will cause the flow to reduce. So the more cavitation that you have, the slower the flow it is. So in Marshal, we always emphasize on high flow. Okay, we don't just say the word high flow just to impress our customer. No, because I can just tell you, oh, my product has high flow. It doesn't mean anything to you until you understand what is high flow. High flow is to allow the flow to flow out smoothly from the tank to another tank without any cavitation, without any restriction, without any heat loss. So this is talking about high flow. So in order for us to understand how does our internal valve perform under a condition of transferring from one tank to another tank. So normally internal valve, we can't see anything. So what we do is that, Marshal, what we do, we have our own lab in our plant at Michigan. So we took our own internal valve. Sorry? You want me to stop, right?
Sorry.
You want me to stop or carry on?
Continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Alright then.
No. Okay, I carry on talking now. Okay, because I thought you asked me to stop.
No.
Okay, so the center one is actually MEC internal valve. The left and the right one is X and Y. And these are also two popular brands. So what we do is that we have a flow of LPG of 100 gallons per minute. And the X brand you can see in the so-called the side glass, you start to see bubble. The Marshal one, you don't see any bubble. The right one, you also see some bubble. Okay, next slide. We increase the flow. So now we increase to 110. Okay, Marshal still don't see any bubble. The left and right there's bubble. So we'll change another slide. 120. Okay, Marshal still very clear. The left and right still some bubble. Another slide. 130. You see the bubbles start to come up. Okay, another slide. So you can see Marshal internal valve is still very clear. 140, the bubble on the left and right still getting more and more. Next slide. 150, you see, especially the Y one is getting more. So is the X. Okay, you see Marshal is still very clear. Next slide. Okay, 160, both are there getting very a lot of bubble. Next slide, 170. Next slide. 180. Okay. Next slide. You see those two are getting very a lot of bubble. 190. Okay. 200. Okay. Marshal is still very clear. You see the two internal valve is getting very a lot of turbulence inside. So this is full inside. And you notice that Marshal will have little bit, still not so bad, but you can see some slight, but not that bad as the other two. Carry on. Okay. This valve is actually designed to have a flow of 250 gallons per minute. Okay. So the reason why brand X was taken out is it's not performing. The bubble it gets too serious and it's not flowing that much. So we took out because we do not want to make brand X look so ridiculous. So we took out. Brand Y still performing, but it's a lot of bubble. And you notice that Marshal, we also have. But the bubble that we have is lesser than brand Y. Okay, the next slide. Okay. This is 230. So this is basically talking about like 80% of the design flow of 250 gallons. Okay, the Y is getting worse, and so we are also have bubble, but not as bad as Y. This slide, I think there's no more this slide. Just turn to this slide, or no more. So what does that so-called flow analysis tell you? To design internal valve, anyone can copy. There are other brands who copy other brands, and they just build. To most people, an internal valve is just to open up and to let the flow in and out. But it doesn't understand what is happening inside the internal valve. And customer doesn't know. The only person who will know that the valve is not performant is the driver who sends the LPG to the customer and when they are doing transferring. And they have to wait there because there's a lot of bubble in the internal valve and the transfer is very slow. So basically, what does the driver do? He can't do anything. He just waits for the LPG to transfer. And the owner of the truck will realize that their truck is taking long time to transfer, where it might be able to do extra another one trip if the internal valve could have no cavitation problem. Okay, so this is very important to select a right equipment to support your tank. So that's why a lot of people say, oh, brand Marshal internal valve, brand X, brand Y also have the same. You know, why should I go for Marshal? Now you know why Marshal is different. Because we do a test to show you, just to convince you that things that you do not see inside is more important. Looking at outside, everyone looks the same. The valve is the same. So the next time when you select, you have to understand what valve you are buying. Okay? This slide shows a very interesting story. Rotor gauge have been performing very well in the market for transportation tank and stationary. What it does is that it actually shows you the volume of LPG in the tank. So in the past, you notice that most tanks are designed with a ladder. So the pro driver had to climb up the ladder, and then he will start to release a little gas, and he will turn the knob to feel how much LPG is in the tank from the tail side of the tank. And they have to do some conversion. So imagine if it's raining and the guy to climb, so it's very inconvenient. So now what actually Marshal have come up with is a Marshal float gauge. Okay, I know in the market there's another popular brand called Rochester. Rochester is also a very good gauge, but there are things that customer feedback to us the problem of Rochester. Okay, I will not talk about my customer, but I'll tell you of my supplier, other supplier. But I'll tell you what are the features that we have overcome where my competitor doesn't have that feature. Okay, so you look at the flow gauge, it's much easier to read. Even though you don't have to climb up the ladder, you stand at the place that you are, you just look up and you can see the number, how much percentage is inside the tank. Okay, next one. So basically, the flow gauge are designed to measure whatever that is inside the tank. And the part that's inside are all stainless steel. Okay. The important thing is that all the joints that we have are all well. The tube are all well tubed. Okay. Our competitor, what they do is they use pin. So there are situations where when they are on the road, due to vibration, the pin drop out. So is the stand that float up, they drop out. So this is the problem faced by my competitors. So what Marshal does is that we learn from other people's mistakes, we correct it, we weld the tube, so it will not drop out. The other thing is that we also get feedback that most of the valve in the market during rainy day or hot day, it becomes very foggy. You can't read it from the place because there's moisture inside the dial face and you cannot read it. So what we do here is that we fill the dial face with argon. and we seal it so that no other gas or humidity vapor gets into the duct face to create the mist and the fogginess on the duct. And one more thing is this, you see sometimes out in the road when it's very shining daylight, suddenly in heavy rain the sky turns black. The advantage of this duct face is it has an illumination of I think 1 or 2 hours. I think it's 1 hour. Suddenly the sky turns black. But because the duct face, all those digital number, it absorbs certain energy of the sun, it will illuminate the number and you can still read it within that hour. After that, it will be gone because the amount of light that it absorbs will be disappear when it's dark. So this is the advantage that our gauge will have because based on the feedback, they say other people gauge when it rains in dark, you cannot even see anything. So that's why we modified with a groom. We call it a groom technology. You will groom up.
Question. Philip, we have a question here. Philip, we have a question.
Yes. Okay.
हमारे पास जो existing roto gauges हैं, उनकी यहाँ पे customer की acceptance होती नहीं for smaller bulk tank, as we tank, ranging from 1,000 water capacity to 10,000 water capacity. हमारे पास इस range के भी अब around 1,000 pressure vessels और उसमें से कोई roughly 101 पे ये लगी हुई है roto gauges. So is there a way to convert those roto gauges to these magnetic level flow gauges or dial gauges?
Okay, आपका size क्या है उसका ये इसका?
The connection size I believe is 2 inches. So that can be one inch, 2 inch का size 1 inch, बस फिर 1 inch.
और tank का वास्ते कितने capacity क्या है?
That 2,000 watt liter capacity to what is that? To 10,000.
We have many tanks, small tanks from 2,000 liter, water liter, 10,000 water liter, and they have installed roto gauge on that. So, is there any way to replace float gauge on those tanks? Roto gauge?
Actually, I did show on the slide here. If you visit the catalog, there is in the catalog on the next page, it shows that when you replace the rotor gauge, they actually have a 1 inch super connection.
Now, Flip, can you start again?
Okay, what I'm saying here is that if you have the old rotor gauge tank that is installed, you can replace with another model that is not shown in this slide that is actually meant to replace those old tanks with rotor gauge. But bear in mind, okay, the tank must have a manhole because you need to go into the tank to put the float gauge inside because that is only 1 inch and you cannot put the float through the 1 inch hole, the float. So you must able to go into the tank. If the tank doesn't have a manhole, you cannot change the work. There's no way. Yeah, you hear me, right?
Already, अगर आपकी रोटो में लगी हुई है वो जो small thing वो 4 inch रोटो गेज का. 4 inch जो बल्ब में वो 1 inch